Hello friends, it's Becca from Becca Books and Bujo, and today I am sharing my 2021 reading stats with you. Alright everyone, so again, I am sharing my 2021 reading stats with you. This is the first time I've been able to do this because I just started YouTube last year in 2021. So I am excited to share with you all of the stats about what I've read in the last year. So first of all, my goal for 2021 was to read 70 books, and I accomplished that goal. I read 71 actually. I am really proud of that. In the past, I have read like 50 or 60 books, and so 71 was great. To break it down monthly, the most books I read was either in March or in August, with 10 books for that month, or for those 2 months. And then the least books I read was in the month of June, when I only read 2 books. And if you watched my deck of TBR for January of 2022, I think I mentioned there that I had a huge reading slump in June, which is the last time I did deck of TBR prior to January of 2022, and it was just a bad reading month, and so many things were going on in our lives and I just could not read, so 2 books that month. So if you average the 71 books out, divide by 12, that was about 5, almost 6 books a month. And then I wanted to share with you the amount of 5-star reads I read each month, or the most 5-star reads and the least 5-star reads. So the most 5 stars I gave in any given month was 3 stars, and that was in November, January, and February. In January, I read 9 books though, so that was only 33% of the books that I read were 5 stars. In February, I read 3 5 stars, but that was out of 7 books, so that was 42%, which is better than January. But then my best reading month technically was in November, when I read 3 5 stars, but 6 books total. So that was 50% of my reads were 5-star reads that month. And then my worst reading month was September, where I read 0 5-star reads out of the 5 books that I read in September. But other months that I gave 0 5-star reads were June, July, and December. So again, my really slumpy reading months were the summer months and September, I would say. But then again, December, I guess I didn't read very many great books. I read 4 books, but not good ones, I guess. No 5-star reads. So then I wanted to go through and tell you the best book I read each month. So let's start with that. In January, the best book I read was Winter Garden by Kristen Hanna. In February, the best book I read was Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. In March, the best book I read was Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. In April, the best book I read was The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. In May, the best book I read was A Promised Land by Barack Obama. In June, the best book I read was Transcendent Kingdom by Ya Jesse. In July, the best book I read was The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. In August, the best book I read was The Death of Vivek Oji by Akweke Emezi. In September, the best book I read was Among the Free by Margaret Peterson Haddix. In October, the best book I read was Oh Crap, Potty Training by Jamie Glowacki. And that was because I learned so much about potty training our son, Theo. In November, the best book I read was The Light Through the Leaves by Glendy Vandera. And in December, the best book I read was Ordinary Grace by William Kent Kruger. So let's go on to the amount of pages I read. I read 24,235 pages, which averages out to about 2,019 pages per month. And then per day, that's about 66 pages per day. The average book length that I read was 341 pages, but the shortest book I read was 64 pages, which was The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. And the longest book I read was 979 pages, and that was The Fiery Cross by Diana Gabaldon. Along with the pages read, I wanted to tell you the hours listened to audiobooks. And so I believe I did this math correctly, but it was 197 hours and 7 minutes. I do listen at 2 times the speed, so it's about half of that time, but I divided that by 24, and that means that I listened to audiobooks for 8 days. Technically at 2 times the speed, then it was 4 days, but that's hilarious, and just goes to show how much I love to read and how much I love to listen to books. I talked about 5-star reads before, and I just wanted to tell you the average rating that I gave my books was a 3.8 rating. Okay, so then here is a pie chart of all of the star ratings that I gave. I gave 16 5 stars, 33 4 stars, 17 3 stars, 4 2 stars, and 1 star. And normally I just wouldn't even finish the book if it was a 1 star, but it was the 64-page book that I read. And so I just kept reading it. So again, you can see in the pie chart about the percentage, but obviously almost 50% of my books were 4-star reads, which I think is a pretty good reading year. And like I said, the average rating that I gave was a 3.8, so pretty awesome. I think next year I could shoot for 3.9 or 4 as an average rating, just to see. Okay, so next I will show a pie chart of the genres that I read. The most popular genre that I read from was romance, which was 15 of the 71 books I read. And then the next most popular was contemporary fiction. And then after that, with 10 books, I read historical fiction. So again, romance, I read 15, contemporary fiction, I read 14, historical fiction, I read 10, dystopian and mystery / thriller, I read 8 out of the 71. Memoir, I read 4, classics, I read 3, and nonfiction and graphic novels were 2, and fantasy, I read 5 books. So after that, I want to share the audience that the books were actually geared toward. So I read, out of the 71 books, I read 54 that were geared toward adults, 11 were geared toward young adults, and then 6 were middle grade books. And so here's a pie chart for that. And then I saw Maddie from Books with Maddie do this one, and I thought it was pretty interesting. And so it was the author, if I've read from them before, or if they were new to me. And say I read a series, so I read the entire Brown Sisters series. Get a Life, Chloe Brown was Talia Hibbert's first book that I ever read, so that was new to me. But then Take a Hint, Danny Brown, and Actor Age Eve Brown, those were authors that I read from before because I had read Talia Hibbert prior to those 2 books. And so out of the 71 books, 35 of the books I had read from that author before, and 36 of the books were new to me. So I thought that was pretty cool that it was a very even split of new authors versus authors that I read before. And then lastly, I am going to share the format that I read. So here's a pie chart for that. I read 41 of my books in physical paper form. 18 of them were audiobooks. 7 of them were strictly ebooks, so ones that I read on my Kindle. And then 5 of them were a combination. So usually I listened to and read physically at the same time. Or if it was a book that I really wanted to get through, I got the audio version and read physically and audibly at different times of the day. So those are my 2021 reading stats. And then I just wanted to share quickly the goals that I have for reading in 2022. So I want to keep that 70 books. Again, I think about 5 or 6 books a month is pretty good for me. So I hope to read 70 books in the month of 2022. I hope to participate in the Buzzwordathon from Books and Lala. She gives you words that you need to include in the titles of your books for each month. And so I hope to read 1 book per month that fit into the buzzword category. I also hope to read the 5th Harry Potter book in French, and that goal is to read 85 pages per month from that 5th book, which is Harry Potter et l'Ordre de Phoenix in French, but it's the Order of the Phoenix in English. And then lastly, I got this idea from Gretchen Rubin, who hosts the Happier podcast, which is a great podcast. And she likes to read a certain author during the summer. She's done the summer of Proust. She's done the summer of Virginia Woolf. And so I decided I was going to do the summer of Kristen Hanna. I have loved Kristen Hanna books before. They make me so happy. They make me bawl and cry. And so I just love her, and I wanted to read her backlist for a while. So during the summer of 2022, I hope to read as many Kristen Hanna books as possible. Again, those are my stats for 2021 and my goals for 2022. Comment down below how many books you hope to read in the month or in the year of 2022, and I look forward to seeing your goals for the coming year. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.